Okay. Ooh, too much. There we go. Hey, welcome to Ignite. Hello, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're all here with us tonight. My name is Brian Shay. I am the Vice President of the California Mathematics Council, so thank you all for being here with us. I teach math in San Diego. I teach high school, mostly trig and calculus and fun things like that. And I'm here to MC this fun Ignite night tonight. So hopefully you're getting your drinks back there. And I also want to make sure I say a big thank you to Hand to Mind for our ice cream. So thank you, Hand to Mind. They are a really amazing sponsor, so thank you so much for providing that ice cream. Hopefully you enjoyed your ice cream mixed with whiskey, like what I'm trying to do once in a while, or whatever you're mixing it with. Let me tell you a little bit about California Math Council. This is an entirely volunteer-run organization. All the people you see running around with the green vests and the green aprons, stand up, raise your hand if you're one of the people who helped put this conference on, please. Stand up, raise your hand, wave. There's a bunch of people. There's about 50 or 60 of us, all amazing people. They're shy. They don't like to be seen. I also am very shy. And I also don't like being seen, obviously. But anyway, so those people who are just standing, they're all teachers like you, administrators like you. Their passion is making sure math in California is wonderful and amazing. Their passion is making sure this conference is really great. I hope you're having a great day. I can't wait for what you're gonna do tomorrow. I hope you're gonna have some great experiences and hopefully enjoying the night tonight here and beyond the city. We are going to start. Are we ready to start, Annie? Maybe, yes? AV people, Peg, are we kind of ready to start? And Thomas, yeah? Okay, I just need one last thing. So, over here is our group of igniters. All these wonderful people sitting over here. These 8 babies, these 8 adorable, beautiful people are going to share with you a really deep, wonderful story. It's going to be 5 minutes long. The slides are going to auto-advance. They can't pause, they can't stop. It's going to be 5 minutes of fun and excitement, and they're scared, but they know you're going to support them. So please cheer them on. It's a very nervous, exciting kind of talk. There's a lot of people here. Teddy, come on up. Teddy Chow. Teddy Chow is a researcher at the Ohio State University. There it is. That was the Ohio symbol. He's also here in California currently helping out with the UCLA Math Project, doing a research study. His passion is all about digital storytelling and having kids use digital technology to tell their math identity, tell their story, specifically for students in minority environments, underprivileged students, students of color. He also loves a lot of beer. You wouldn't know by looking at how skinny he is.
I love beer.
He does love his beer. I think he's going to talk about that in a little bit. He also runs and naps, which makes sense. You run, beer, nap, or beer, run, nap. Which one? Beer, run, or run, beer?
Beer, run, nap.
Beer, run, nap. He also has 3 kids, 3 wonderful kids. He took all their Halloween candy from them 3 days ago. Took all the good stuff. And Teddy, are you ready?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do this.
Everybody, love Teddy. Here's Teddy.
Yeah. So hey, that's me. That's my favorite. That's a picture in the CGI fractions book. It's a picture. It's the only picture I've ever had to sign at a conference, right? So some of you might know me from that. I do a lot of work in research, in math education research. I love being in classrooms and working with teachers and hanging with kids. But in reality, a lot of research is filling out IRB forms, with consent forms, looking at data, and then trying to get money. I'm always trying to get more and more grants, and they're prestigious. The most prestigious grant for people in my world is the NSF Career Grant. I tried 3 years in a row. I really tried to connect with teachers, trying to build and make a grant better and better, and I finally got it. Woo! Right? It's a lot of work. All these people are people who helped me. Melissa Adams Corral, Tiffany Tynes-Curry, Susan Empson, Aaron Turner, Julia Aguirre, Catherine Ye, Brian Lawler, Bob Moses, and Earl Shaw. Shout outs. All these people gave me lots and lots of advice, read through drafts, helped me get this grant. It was a labor of love. And I even got to hang out with a school that focuses on play, inquiry-based teaching, and all sorts of great things happening at this one school that served an African-American community in Ohio. Everything was set. I had the grant, I had the money, I had the teachers, I had the school, and then boom, got the grant in the summer of 2020, right? Whoo! How cool. So I didn't really know what to do. I was like, okay, we can't be in the classrooms. We just kind of figured this out. I have this money, I can't spend it. So I spent the year getting kind of drank, all right? And you know, a lot of the teachers and the people I was working with, right, this is what we did. We just sort of like commiserated, like, what the heck are we gonna do, right? But my work before I became a teacher was in software. So I learned, you're gonna pivot. Let's change things up, right? We can do this differently. We don't have to be in schools. We don't have to do the way schools normally do. Let's try hanging out where the kids go, right? So I found out that kids were in community centers, right? Especially our students on IEPs had to be in spaces that they were supported. I started shifting. You can see this is one of our digital storytelling screenings. Families had to sit at different tables, they had to do it far apart, people had to wear masks. We're able to do stuff. Working on Zoom, right? Hanging out, we get to see the personalities of the kids, get to hang with parents, get to hang with grandparents, get to hang with family members, right? I learned so much about the kids and the teachers I was working with because we have this window into their home life, right? But I also found out that, you know what, a lot of what we do in schools, now that I'm working in community centers, a lot of what we do in schools, kind of whack, kind of colonizing, right? Kind of still like doing a lot of white supremacy of looking at kids in really deficit ways. But when we actually did the camps, when we actually working with kids, man, the kids were thriving, right? All this talk about learning loss, right? Kids not doing enough, right? I found the opposite. I found that kids, when they're given spaces and freedom to really have some fun, were doing great stuff. But Lee Patel hooked me up and she's talking to me about, hey, go where you're local, right? It's not where you're from, it's not where you're at, it's where you're local. And I started realizing that I'm doing this work in schools, but for me, as an Asian American kid growing up in the United States, I went back to Cali. I started looking at the communities I'm from, communities where I've been working with, communities where teachers get support, and finding out that, wow, there's not a lot of work going on in Asian American math education outside of this deficit model minority narrative, right? The model minority myth, which is a violent way of focusing only on academic achievement, of basically saying all Asian Americans are the same, and really just erasing all the individuality and the actual struggles going on. So my students started getting deeper and deeper into, let's tell some counter stories. Let's push back on these narratives about who we are, what our community is. Those counter stories are pretty scary, right? Finding out a lot about migration trauma, right? Mental health issues, right? Intergenerational loss, right? And it's real. I mean, I do work in Monterey Park right now, right? We just had a shooting on Lunar New Year, right? It was terrible. And this stuff is real, right? And this affects the kids that we work with, and oftentimes these stories are not talked about because within the Asian American community, we just focus on math being really good, the achievement looking really good, right? And so I've got to just work in Monterey Park in San Gabriel Valley. This is some work focusing on the math behind the Transcontinental Railroad, which was built by Chinese Americans in the 1800s that were erased. So now again, focusing on where I'm going. What does Asian American math identity look like? It can look very different than just doing well in school, look very different than just being a model minority, looking very different than just doing well and getting into the colleges, right? What could it be? Could it be something absurd, right? Like how about Asian American families winning the Cannabis Cup, right? Why the hell not, right? I mean, I don't even know what this is gonna look like. So that's where I'm coming from. Peace, y'all, I'm Teddy.
Good work, Teddy. It took a little while for everybody to see what was in that picture, didn't it? Watching the delay of the laughter of that picture was really great to listen to. Thank you, Teddy. That was a really fantastic talk about finding your identity, knowing who you are, helping our kids figure out who they are and what math means to them. Our next speaker is the fantastic Kira Brodsky-Chase. Kira, come on down. Kira is a fantastic person. Was a special ed teacher and a math teacher. They got a PhD all about algebraic understanding and something called reverse scaffolding. I got a feeling we might hear a little bit about that soon or not. Yeah. What's so most fascinating, they are in a bluegrass band called the Broken G-Strings. They're nasty. In any event, they also love to go rock climbing, they love to woodwork, They lived all over the world, including in Corsica, milking goats and making cheese from goat milk.
That's true.
They're going to tell you a great story. Take it away, Kira. Thanks.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Kira Brodsky-Chase. My pronouns are they, them. I work for an organization called Connected. At Connected, we make potential exponential by partnering with school districts across the nation to improve outcomes for students so that everyone graduates prepared for college, career, and life. Why is it? Sounds like it's echoing. I'm excited and like a little nervous to be up here today. I'm going to spend my 5 minutes talking about the connections between the creative endeavors of music making and mathematics. We can think of this as like sonic representations. But first, a little about me and my history with music. This is me at about age 4, really owning that triangle. In 9th grade, I discovered Bob Marley and Pearl Jam. That was a fun phase. And as Brian said, I most recently was spotted at the Olympia Farmers Market where my band made their debut. It was my goal for 2023 to perform, and I made that happen. Thank you. But enough about my musical notoriety. I'd like to start by talking a little bit about sonification of graphical representations. So for this example, let's assume that the x-axis is time, and that the y-axis is all of the white notes on a piano. And the origin will be, let's say, middle C. So this might sound or look a little like this. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And it's a linear. And a sine or a cosine might look and sound something like this. Ooh. Speaking of waveforms, sound is actually in waves, and there's frequencies. So for higher pitches, there's higher frequencies, and for lower pitches, there's lower frequencies. So the note, for example, like la, might have a frequency of 440, and then an octave higher. La, la, might have a frequency of 880, which is exactly double. It's so amazing and fun. But moving on from sound, let's talk a little bit about like rhythm and beats. So once it gets going, in songs there's a time signature, and that describes the amount of counts in a measure. So in 4/4 time, this is a whole note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is equivalent to 2 half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is equivalent to 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you guessed it, it's equivalent to 8 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm not gonna keep going with that. You get the picture, 16, it's too fast. And this is sort of like a traditional rhythm where like the beats are kind of divisible, but there are these things called polyrhythms where there's 2 things happening at the same time that are not divisible. So in this one, you could think of it as like the right and the left are doing different things. I'm going to demonstrate. So like both my fingers are going to snap, and then it's right, left, right. This is very like reggaeton, you know? Murder, she wrote. Murder, she wrote. Oh, I kind of messed that one up. All right, so we've come to the audience participation section of my talk. Put your drinks down, please. All right, we're going to split the room. This is not very even, unfortunately. Let's say I'm not allowed to go past this panel, but like the edge of the stage over there, you're going to clap on every 1, all right? So it's like on the 5th count, but really you're doing it on the 1. And then this side of the room, we'll get to what you're going to do in a minute. We're going to do a 5-3 polyrhythm. All right, you with me? Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, keep that going. Keep that going. All right, this side over here. 1, 2. You're going to clap on every 3rd one, starting with that 1, and then the 4, and then the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yes! That was amazing! And it's in a line, too. Isn't that cool? Thank you so much. That's my time. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's magic in here. Think of all the magic we can make out there for our students.
Thank you, Kira. Awesome. That was fun. We all literally were clapping. That was so cool to hear that sound from both sides. I can't wait to see that. Oh, here we got eager beaver over here is Dan Schuster. So, say hi. So Dan is very emotional today. He's a little emotional. Here's why. His family lives in Simi Valley. He lives in Simi Valley, which is what, like 4 hours away?
With traffic.
With traffic, 4 hours away. So his wife of 34 years and 2 of their children all drove here today to watch this old man talk to you all for 5 minutes. They surprised him. They're over there somewhere. They just rolled on in. There he was. He was a mess. Oh, man. He probably still is a mess, and this is not helping. So he's been teaching for 30 years, math and computer science. He is excited. He's also a math coach over in the Simi Valley area. He's worked at every single school in that school district, he claims, which is, if you want to brag about
in every grade level.
You know what people say about people like that in this room. All right, he also loves to juggle, and he loves to moonwalk. Interesting, maybe later you'll get him drunk and he'll moonwalk, or sober he'll do it. I won't ever do that. So. Here we go. Let's hear from the lovely Dan.
All right, so the name of my talk is Teach Different, and I'm going to tell you what that is in just a little bit. Before I do, I'm going to talk about the giants whose shoulders I've stood on, and are the reason I'm here tonight. First of all, this is Keith Barker. This was my high school math teacher who was incredible at what he did. He loved it. He inspired his students. I looked up to him and I wanted to be just like him. And so I did the same thing and I became a teacher following his footsteps. And I got to teach with him for 15 years before I retired. This is Barnabas Hughes. He was a prolific presenter at this conference and a professor at Cal State Northridge. In 1987, he told me, go to the CC, what's this conference called? The South. And it was at LA Convention Center at that time. And I found math teacher Disneyland. Linda Hutink, also from CSUN, she created a NSF-sponsored master's degree to build leadership among secondary teachers in Southern California. Because of her, I had the confidence to do my first presentation here in 1998. Woo! So back to the title. Remember Think Different, the Apple computer advertisement? They highlighted all these incredible individuals of different walks of life who are risk takers and big thinkers. Well, I teach a math methods course at California Lutheran University, and I want my students to teach different. So I have themes that I share with them throughout the year, and I'm going to share those with you right now. And I know top 10 lists are really cool, but this list goes to 11. I'll tell you that right now. All right, number 1. We need to develop student-centered classrooms, make our students the stars of the mathematical show. And by the way, building thinking classrooms is an awesome way to do that. Shout out Peter Lillidahl right over there. Oh, we need to have our students see the joy and beauty of math. Math cannot be about getting ready for a test or getting ready to do more math next year. Share the joy, the enthusiasm, the beauty of math with your students, stuff like that. And math is not a subject to cover, but rather to uncover. Let's position our students in a space where they can discover and learn math from their own perspectives. Just like you see these 2 girls here working with manipulatives. Let them figure it out. We don't need to tell them. Let them show their brilliance. Okay, and here's the great one, right? I do, we do, you do. We all have done this. That's how we learned. We thought that's the way you teach. We can do better. I don't know where I got this, but executing someone else's decisions, directions is not teaching mathematics. We're not doing it. Oh, and homework. That's a good one, right? When we started as teachers, we thought, our students need to do homework. Let's assign homework. I stopped giving homework over 20 years ago. Let's face it. Homework is a filter for privilege. And it doesn't tell you what you think it tells you. And if students only see what's between the two bindings of that math textbook, that's all they see in our math class, we have a missed opportunity there. There is so much more math outside of that school math. Let's show students that every day. Let's get outside and do some field trips with math. Speaking of those textbooks, lots of stuff in there, right? We can't teach all of it. We don't need to teach all of it. Find what's important, what's essential, focus on that. Let's dig deeper, not thinner, and let's slow our roll here. Oh, this is good stuff here. I'm big on technology. Desmos, GeoGebra, PolyPad. These tools, if we give them to our students, they can learn math, visualize math, do math in ways that are just unbelievable. Great things happen when we put these tools. Thank you for making these tools. I taught for about 7 years before the internet existed in my world, so I am super awesomely excited about these things. These websites and so many more. Some of the people who made these websites are in this room. Shout out to them. Okay, 2015, I didn't have any social media. I made a Twitter account. I said, okay, let's do this. Instant professional development, my greatest professional development. I know it's confusing now, Twitter, X, whatever. Let's just call it Twix and move on, all right? Math conferences, there are 3 of them in this state. North, South, Central, they're all different, they're all awesome in their own way. Get to those, I trust you, you'll enjoy it. And that big one, NCTM, this is where you find your people. This is part of my lifeblood as a teacher. This is my happy place as a professional educator. These people right here, look at those people. These are people I have admired, learned from, befriended, met in person, and in some case work with. They inspire me. Shout out to that super crew in the middle, Canadian educators I met in LA. We went to a Dodger game together, an awesome night. These 48 names, these are the people who volunteered to run and set up this conference. I cannot believe the time and effort to make this happen. Let's thank these people. This is incredible. Woo! So those are my dreams and wishes for the teachers of the future here. And this is what I want my students to embrace. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from one of the all-time champion dreamers, Walt Disney, focusing on the words, keep moving forward. That's my mantra. I want that to be for you. This is an incredible opportunity. I thank you so much, and I hope these words resonated with you.
Yes, that was Dan. That was amazing. That was exciting. Thank you for those shout outs. Thank you all. That was a beautiful talk, Dan. Thank you we all started this because we were inspired by somebody, right? Your high school math teacher, your parent, your whatever it might be that made you fall in love with math. And we're all in that same space. And it was great to hear his origin story, Mr. Spider-Man over there. So next up, oh, here she comes, Sandhya Raman. Oh, watch out, everybody. This is a woman with a mission. She is fabulous. I met her, what, a year ago? 1 year ago? 2 years ago? 2 years ago on this very stage, or some version of the stage 2 years ago.
And we all know what happened.
Came back. She's crazy, but we love her. So she's ignited here 2 years ago. She's a middle school teacher in the Bay Area, somewhere in Northern California.
Can't
right?
say that.
What?
SoCal people can't say
We
that.
don't-
It's called San Jose.
San Jose. San Jose.
We don't say
San Jose.
LA-ish.
It's, yeah.
Joe Buller talked about ish today. So.
Oh, well, therefore we cannot talk about ish. Okay, so what else? She is first and foremost, a daughter. Second, maybe first and foremost, a mother. We're going to hear a lot about, but mother. Her mother inspired her. Her mother was an educator, a teacher. Her mother inspired her. Like some of us, it was my teachers for Sandhya. It was her mother. Inspired her to be a teacher. She's self-identified as a carbivore. Carbivore. Only eats carbs.
Always
girl.
and every time.
Drinks carbs.
I
She'll
wish.
need a drink. Somebody get her a drink after that. Okay, what else? She loves to travel. She feels travel is the best way to learn and explore the world. Travel is the best school, isn't it? She loves embroidery and reading and hiking, and she's going to tell you a beautiful story. Here we go, Sandhya. We love you.
But they set the bar up too high. But they say it's a good crowd, so I'm going to start with a little chant. Guru Ra Brahma, Guru Ra Vishnu, Guru Ra Devo Maheshwara, Guru Ra Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. I grew up in India, where the Guru, the Sanskrit word for teacher, not for an expert, a teacher, is worshipped. The guru passes the wisdom on to the shishya, the student, and that's the pride. I grew up in India, where I was shunned with negativism, with discredits and penalties because I could never ever memorize math. And you're asking me how I'm doing an Ignite here? I don't know what's coming up. I grew up in India, where my 7th grade math teacher told me I should pick up a job that has nothing to do with mathematics. But being the 7th grader, I knew no better, and I went on a hunt for that job. I grew up in India. My family always stood by my side. Whether it was my mom sitting next to me in that class picture because she's a teacher, or whether they were celebrating my success, which had nothing to do with mathematics, or my fumbling with memorization throughout. But here is Pallavi, our daughter. She's a freshman in high school this year. And 3 weeks back, we saw her sneakily doing her math problems because her teacher told her she cannot do math until she memorizes the quadratic formula, the distance formula, with the Pythagorean triplets. This is not the kid we had. She was the one who loved math. Her charm, energy, love was created in the notice and wonders that she did, in the joy she had in sharing the discovery of patterns, in the joy she had sharing that with her friends, with us as parents. All that was just lost in 3 months. But to me, it rings a bell. I see the connection. It was the exact same thing that happened to me. I see how all these negativities can impose impact and possibly derail her. But being a math teacher, I know there's a good side to negatives, right? We can even do double negatives in math, not in the English class, says Grammarly. So then, if I know all this, if I know the impact of negatives, if I know that there is a whole universe of beauty in the numbers that lies beyond what we set as our baseline, 0, why am I not seeing that negative yet? Why am I not seeing the actual positive in the negative? Why am I not seeing the beauty in all her struggle, in all her cries? Maybe that's the human element. Maybe that's the parent in me. Maybe that's the teacher in me. Maybe that's the Sandhya in me as a 7th grader. As a teacher, we all have good intents. Our intents are definitely always showcasing the best of our students. But sometimes our impact is not the same as our intent. We all know that. Never is it deliberate. Never is it intentional. Sometimes what we think we want to say is not what is heard. I have myself been guilty of that many a times. And none of us are flawless. We've all done that. Can I ask you to please be that person who can make that negative memory in these children to be positive and impact them in a way that it makes sense and gives them the confidence that they've never probably had? Can we bring back the aha moments in the mathematics instead of shunning them down just because they cannot memorize something in mathematics? Can we not be that person because we as a person are already doing that? Can we not take that one step more and be that person for that student in our lives? You all already are doing it. Can I just ask you to intentionally do that more? Because there is power in negative. We all know that. There are numerous puns and jokes about it. We just have to wait to harness that negative power and make it into the energy that feeds our confidence. Because like Pallavi says, there is success related to soaring in the sky, but for her, when she does her scuba diving and goes and touches that manta ray, that's success for her. And even though it's not soaring, it's still down there. So Gurura Brahma, Gurura Vishnu, Gurura Devo Maheshwara, Gurura Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. Salutations to you teachers. That was my time.
That was magnificent. Okay, so let's pause for a second. Stand up if this is your first time at the CMC Math Conference, please. Look at all these wonderful people. Thank you all. I really appreciate you being here. I know it's Friday night, and you want to be elsewhere perhaps. You took a day off of work to be here. We really appreciate that. Stand up if you've been here, let's say, at least 5 times. Who keeps coming back? Look at those folks. For those of you who are brand new, look at how many people keep coming back. We keep coming back because of this kind of community, this kind of energy. Thank you all for coming back. There's always stuff to learn. We want our kids to keep learning. We need to keep learning. And I know you all here because you love to learn. We just need to get that message spread out, as you just kind of heard. We need not just these people to love learn and love math. We need all of our colleagues, all of our students to get there. Let's get my good buddy Dave Masunaga up here. Come here, Dave. So this man I've been a fan of. I've been fangirling for this guy for probably a decade now. He's been institution. He's been teaching for over 45 years. I think mostly in Hawaii? Yes. All in the beautiful, miserable place called Hawaii. Aloha.
Get to know me.
He's fabulous. He is also one of the world's foremost experts on Escher, the artist, the mystic, the brilliant man, the mathematician. And he gave a fabulous talk earlier today about Escher. If you missed it, bummer. Seriously, amazing experience. He also, this is a direct quotation from Mr. Masunaga. My mother said that even after she's passed on, to make sure that my introducers tell the audience that I'm still single. So here he is. He's single. Dave Masunaga.
I am. Thanks so very much, Brian. I just love being in the classroom. I love to have students pose questions. It's time to ignite and for teachers to fuel the flame because some like it hot, like the movie of the same name. After a scant 5 minutes, I hope you'll agree that everything's better when you examine 3D. In the 1940s, emcee Escher brilliantly observed how his world could tessellate with various curves. They were, alas, just two-dimensional flat beings. They were trapped in the plane with limited scenes. Until one of them decided that that was enough, he crawled out of Escher's notebook in a move that was tough. Climbing the desktop articles, that was rough. A dozen years later, a film hit the screens a lot. It was Some Like It Hot, or So I Thought. It was actually the 7-year itch with this great scene, but it was still just 2D because it was on a flat screen. But fast forward again in the land of Palm Springs, with a 3D model asking mathematical things, a 26-foot enlargement of note. Let's see what math questions our students can denote. The kids said the dress size must be an outlier. And about her shoe size and legs, they know something's haywire. Speaking of which, how long is her gait? And someone that size must have plenty of weight. Okay. How big is the house that she lives in, they wonder. She's double the height of the Stonehenge asunder. How big is a plane for someone that tall? An airplane that size from the sky might just fall. And how many calories would she eat in a day? We'd have to throw the units of kcals away and replace it with gigacals as the new units, I'd say. One student asked, how many hot dogs that giant lady could eat? The record for women is 48 in a meat. With a stomach her size, she won't easily be beat. And how big is the toothpaste that she uses each night? And how long is the toothbrush that keeps her teeth bright? A size like that could bring the company's demise. And do you think the 60% free still applies? Surface area increases with the square of the scale factor. How much more soap would she use than this daffy actor? She may need so much that she needs a soap benefactor. Okay. How many pounds of makeup each month is applied? And how many gallons of nail polish is tried? How many regular size lipstick does she lay aside? What would be the size of the origami paper she uses, and how large are the origami cranes that she produces, and the other big models which she introduces. And here is a leading question from the boys that I've taught. How much can she bench press, and how much weight can she squat? The girls, on the other hand, in my class, ask about her brain. With a cranium that large, she must be a genius with no strain, but they hope she doesn't suffer from acute migraines. And what if instead she were shrunken to 8 inches tall? How would length, surface area, and volume befall? And would she be bullied because she's so small? Okay. In math, 3D means a geometric shape, but there is much more to that in the math landscape. This conference especially is totally 3D true because its focus is on dream, dare, and do. Okay? You get it, 3D, dream, dare, do. Okay, 3D. Okay? If you don't believe the words out of my mouth, just confirm them this weekend at CMC South. Well, we've reached the end. And I must say, the most common question from my students today was by far, Mr. Masunaga, who is this lady anyway? The end. Aloha.
Dave. That was like, wow. Okay. That was pretty awesome, dude. Like, yeah, 45 years teaching, still like that. That's a life goal. Now you know why I've been fangirling for him for 10 years. He's fucking awesome, excuse me. But yeah, there we go, thank you, Dave. Aloha, indeed. He's also been a lifetime CMC member. Never worked or taught math in California, but he just loves what we do. He loves us. So there we go, thank you, Dave. Next up is the lovely and talented, amazing Claudia Maldonado. Her story is fascinating. I did a little Googling, sorry, oops. And so, but most of this is all public knowledge, I promise. So, she is a migrant education coordinator for Kern County Office of Ed. So first and foremost, props to that. Yes, queen, good job. She's also a math specialist, math and science coordinator. She loves to cook some good Mexican food. What kind of dance do you love to do? You love what kind of dance?
Salsa, yeah, you name it.
We can do a little bit of that up here later. I got the jacket for it. And also, she's the grandmother of 2 beautiful, lovely girls, and a mother of 3 very handsome boys, guapos. Here we go, the lovely Claudia Maldonado.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. I don't think I'm gonna make you laugh, so forgive me for that, because I'm actually going to dare you today. My theme for tonight is dare to make those dreams possible. And I got this theme after I look at what CMC had, dreams, dare, and do. But how do we make dreams come a reality when we work with students who are our migrant students, or we work with students who are EL students, or foster students, or sometimes we work with homeless students, special ed students, newcomers, all of those. We put labels right away on our students, but yet we forget the labels belong in jars, not humans. But yet we still put labels in our students. Let me go ahead and give you a quick definition of what a newcomer is. A newcomer is immigrants who have been in the US for 3 years or less. And sometimes we get them here who are well educated or with interrupted or no education. I was the newcomer, non-educated,
In Mexico, I work at the age of 5. I couldn't go to school because I had to support my family. Yes, newcomer, non-educated. I got that label right away. And then when I came here, I didn't go to school. I work in the field, so I was the migrant student. I came here at the age of 11, and then they put me in the 6th grade right away. Guess what? I didn't know how to read and write. I didn't even know the language, so I became the EL learner. And then it took my teacher 3 months for her to realize that I could not read or write or even do math. So they tested me and they put me in a special ed classroom, so I got another label as a special ed student. And then through my journey in the United States, for a while we didn't have a place to live, so we slept in a car. So yes, I was a homeless student. But yes, I had an amazing teacher, my special ed teacher, Mrs. Overlander, who saw beneath those labels. She saw my potential. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. And she saw beneath the surface. She saw what I was capable of doing. And guess what? In her classroom, I was able to learn the math with manipulatives. I remember the beans. I remember the counters. She taught me how to read. She taught me how to write. I read my first book, Clifford, the Big Red Dog. I love that book. And not only that, her love, her empathy for her students, she was able to see and discover the stories that we would bring into her classroom. She planted that seed. I wanted to be just like her. So when I became a teacher, I taught at Emerson Middle School. Guess what? 94.3% of our students were minority students. But as that teacher, I never saw the labels in my students. I was able to see beneath that. And when I became a teacher, I was able to go ahead and make sure that my students had the best math instruction. I used what they knew, and then I would teach them math. I make sure that they deserve the best. I advocated for them. One thing I can tell you, to make their dreams become a reality at Emerson Middle School, it took a village. Yes, that's what it took. It took a village for our students to be successful. Like Philip, he loved soccer and he hated math. He was my student. Mr. Clear, his coach, coached him for football. I helped him with math. He wanted to be an NFL player. He is an NFL player. But one thing that I can tell you right now, we had to change the way we look at things, and the things that we looked at, they changed. But again, you have to see past those labels. You have to plant that seed. So with everything I said tonight, I want to thank everyone that believed in me, that helped me reach my dreams. It took a village, and those of you that saw my potential, yes, every single one of my accomplishments has names attached to it. Some of you are sitting here tonight, and I want to thank you for that. So I dare you, I want to dare you. I want to dare you to make dreams come true by planting that seed and see the potential in your students. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That was a beautiful story. Yes. Thank you. Don't forget, we all have students like that. We don't always know we have students like that, but we do. And you can have a big impact on all of your students. We like that. There's a lot of themes tonight, as you've noticed. A lot of themes about love and getting to know people, and that's all we need to do, first and foremost, teach. A lot of themes about coordinates and positives and negatives. Let's hear from our next guy. Raj, are you ready? Oh, he's giving a hug, yes. Here's Raj Shah. So this guy, he said he loves to make math irresistible. I like that. What is that, verb? Noun? I don't know. Yes, math is not, yes, math is my first language. He's got a PhD in physics, oddly enough, though he says math is his first language. So he just likes watered down math, as I call physics. Sorry. That's what I say every day. Yes, that's what I say every day. Okay, good. I gotta get you ready. He used to work at Intel, so that means he's really intelligent. He founded a Math Plus Academy and the Global Math Project, which helped bring math to joyful math to 7 million students across the world. His favorite number is 9. He's learning to sing, so we just learned a little bit about some vocal harmonies, so maybe you'll be singing later tonight. And he loves some board game junkies, so he loved the pandemic for sure. So let's go. Take it away, Dr. Raj Shah.
All right, thank you. I believe the appropriate phrase now is, this is going to be a hoot. Ted Lasso, Season 1, Episode 8. Ted's throwing darts. He says these 4 famous words: be curious, not judgmental. Man, do I love that. 4 powerful words. Let's break them down. Be curious. Obviously, right? Curiosity is the gateway to lifelong learning. And math is the perfect playground for that. Ask questions, wonder, explore, discover. It's beautiful. Not judgmental. Don't judge. Yeah, I knew that too, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, because when you do, you limit the possibilities, you shut down the doors, and lose opportunities. But in math, it is so hard not to judge, because math has right answers and you either get them or you don't. It's part of the reason people love math. It's also the reason most people despise math. They hate being judged. And think about what we do, K-12. The whole system is built around, can you produce right answers in a finite amount of time to problems that have already been solved? What are we even measuring? We're not measuring anything that judges human capability or potential. And then we label high kids, low kids, gifted kids, my struggling kids. And we know that the moment you label, you change the expectations and you change the opportunities. And those low kids, they often get less challenge, less demanding tasks, lower expectations. And then we wonder, how come they're not learning? Why aren't they catching up? What's going on? They can't think. And Ted is giving us the answer. The antidote to judgment is curiosity. Every time you judge, just pause, notice, and turn it into a question. It's that simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Here's one I've said. Those kids, they're unmotivated. Judgment. Pause. Question. Are they really unmotivated? Is that true? Are they unmotivated everywhere or just in my class? Questions are the unlock. The minute you stop judging and you start asking more questions, you start to see the possibilities. You see the whole child, and you remember this one fundamental truth. Every child is brilliant. They're brilliant in their own unique ways. They have their own experiences, their own gifts, their own talents, and they share them with us every single day. So I hope you're starting to see these 4 words can change your relationships in the classroom and maybe even change how we relate to each other. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we could be more curious and less judgmental? Now here's the thing. Each one of you is brilliant. Who judges you the most? Probably yourself. We are keeping ourselves from our own unlocked potential. And you see how self-judgment works. We know everyone can do math, but the students who decide they're not math people, they're never going to get there because their own mind is holding them back. Now we have the power to help them ask questions and get the unlock. Oh, you're not a math person. Cool. How do you know that? How much math do you even need to know to be a math person? Does math people, do they even exist? Is that a real thing? Questions are the unlock. That one idea, I'm not a math person, holds back over half of American adults who came out of our system, right? You may not have that limiting belief, but you have other ones. What is holding you back from sharing your brilliance? I know for me, I've been stressed out about being on this stage the entire day. I don't deserve to be up here. Nobody cares about what I have to say. That's my own brain playing tricks on me. And then I remember judgment. Pause. Breathe. Do I really not deserve to be up here? Does this message really not matter? Who knows? Questions are the unlock. Curiosity is the unlock. And so I hope I can teach this lesson to my students, to be curious, not judgmental, not just to others, but to themselves, so that they never take their ability to produce or not produce right answers and let it define who they are and what they can be. And so my dream for all of us is that we take this message, be curious, not judgmental, for ourselves, and you unlock something, and you share your brilliance with the world, because the world needs you, and it needs me. So I don't know if this message is going to resonate, but I do know if I don't share it, we will never find out. Barbecue sauce.
Fine. That was fabulous. Even for a physicist, that was a great talk. Wow, look at me judging. I'm a judger. That's what I do. Honestly, great job, Raj. Thank you for that great talk. Yes, we should be curious. Why would a physicist care that much about math? Who knows? But in any event. So we have one more. One more. This is Deborah Perch. The queen has arrived. The queen mather of my mathematical mind. Queen Mather. She got the memo about wearing good clothes, unlike everyone. No judgment. No judgment. Curiosity. All right, what else do we know about her? She's a mother of 3 adult mathers. This kind of like teared me up a little bit. She's got 2 dogs named Dolly and Daisy. I've had 2 dogs named Dolly and Daisy. So yeah, that was really sweet. We're dog sisters. She's also from Florida, poor thing. Oh, well, she lives in Florida. Lives in Florida currently. Lives in Florida currently, poor thing. Still gonna say the word poor thing. She's been in the business for 30 years, helping people, inspiring people, healing, learning, and leading is what she does. She helps lead and help support schools and institutions through healing, learning, and love. Today, yes, the worst flight experience, yesterday, the worst flight experience. She left Florida at 5 a.m., miserable Florida time. She took a flight somewhere, somehow it landed in Ontario. Rightfully enough, from the East Coast, she thought Ontario, Canada. She did not get off the plane. She was supposed to get off the plane.
No.
Oh, no, you weren't?
No, they
She got
told me.
confused. She went to Sacramento, then back to Palm Springs. Florida, somewhere, Ontario, Sacramento, Palm Springs, somewhere in Dallas.
Both airports.
Poor thing.
Yes.
So she's had a rough day yesterday. But now she's here, she's gonna math with us, the amazing Deborah Perch.
People often assume that I'm a mathematician, but my immediate response is, well, that's just simply fiction. Mathematician is a very fancy label, but I myself was never invited to that table. Even though math came easy for me, each year teachers chipped away at my curiosity. Don't ask questions, just follow the steps with ease. Do the grades without understanding, just simply perform and appease. Because math is really for those with that imaginary math gene, and gender is a factor, but really, to be the star in math class, you really just have to be the best actor. And then we wonder why. People say with pride, who, me? Oh no, I'm not a math person. All of my math dreams have shriveled up and died. Mathematicians study mathematics to make sense of the world and to solve all the problems. And guess what? Anyone can do it. Anyone can follow the path. Anyone can put in the work, because even a girl has the math gene. But guess what else we need to think about? We need to consider math the career versus math for life, because math is all around us and shouldn't cause us any strife. I mean, scientist, dancer, construction worker, they're all mathing, am I right? Because readers read and writers write, and there's no opting out, really. You just can't just stop doing that. But you don't get just a grade for reading and writing. That's not what it's all about. Math is not just a subject, but an experience to be had. And maybe if there was more joy in math class, well, it wouldn't be so bad. And if we connected the math to the kids' lives, they wouldn't be so darn sad. Because we were born with math intuition and mathematical ideas, and that's a fact. Just ask any toddler if they'd rather have 2 or 5 of their favorite snack. Our brains are wired to recognize patterns and to solve problems in all different ways. We face puzzles and logical challenges and reason our way through them on most days. I mean, we code, we sketch, we plan, and we design the towers of our dreams. Yet math is never seen as the solution, only the problem in all of the memes. But I mean, we can't fix it all. We can't fix it all today because this problem, it's bigger than you and me. But there is something that we can do to get math the way it should be. It starts by disrupting this elitist gatekeeping that is our legacy. Yeah, you can snap it up. So here we are with the biggest problem of all left unsolved. How do we reclaim mathematics and get everyone involved? Can we balance the scales and prove that as humans, we've actually truly evolved? Well, let's start by changing the language and stop all of this us versus them. We don't all have to choose a career in mathematics or in the field of STEM. And teachers, this starts with you. You have to decide that you're a mather too. Because a mather is a person using math to make sense of the world you see. Well, that's you, your mama, your students, your friends, and of course, the queen mather. Well, that's me. Because math deserves a verb. It deserves a makeover and a brand new chance to be seen as inclusive and necessary, even when we dance. So will you commit? Will you decide to advocate for mather pride and be the one to save math dreams that came to school and died? Paint the picture. Help others see math's softer side and curiosity. Math for all, math for life, math for justice and liberty, because we say that math is liberation, but liberation requires for us to resist. We need to stand against racist policies and practices instead of telling the kids they must persist. Granted, productive struggle leads to learning that will last. But keyword productive, not just struggle. Let's leave those bootstraps in the past. So I implore you, one and all, will you join the mather movement with me? Stand up, stand out, and be the mathers our students need us to be. So what's it gonna be? What will you choose to do? I know I'm a mather. Wouldn't you like to be a mather too?
Deborah! Don't go too far. We're gonna bring everybody back on up. That poem is beautiful. All our igniters, Ben, Kira, Raj, Tanya, Dave, Tanya, Dan. Thank you all. This was a fun night. I hope you got some inspiration, got some poetry, got to dream and dare, got to see some people do some great things. So thank you all. Have a good night. Here we go.